Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Straight and full Detroit and Michigan sports coverage 100% of the time. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/TaylorGatorPhillips14. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's.
And this is episode 117 on Spreaker. I'm going to, since I am not on the public airwaves locally, I will do a sports update on here instead. You can also leave comments on my episode on Spreaker as well. First off, Detroit Lions center Dominic Raiola is suspended 1 game by the NFL, written by Justin Rogers of MLive.com. This goes without pay. The suspension comes without pay for stomping on the leg of Chicago Bears defensive tackle Ego Ferguson, the league announced Monday afternoon. Raiola will miss the Lions game at Green Bay to decide who wins the NFC North. According to a press release from the league, the incident is Raiola's 6th safety-related rules violation since 2010. Rule 12, Section 2, Article 12B of the NFL rulebook is the violation being cited by the league. It prohibits the kicking or kneeing an opponent. Raiola called the stop inadvertent following the game and apologized to Ferguson and a number of Chicago's team leaders. But Bears coach Mark Trestman told reporters Monday, the head coach, that the team still requested the league to look into the Lions lineman's actions. Detroit head coach Jim Caldwell told reporters he reviewed the alleged stomp from multiple camera angles and believed Raiola that the incident was not intentional. The suspension was imposed by NFL Vice President of Football Operations Merton Hanks. Raiola will be banned from the team's facilities and not permitted to have contact with the club outside of medical treatment until he is reinstated on December 29th, which will be in time for the team's playoff run. Raiola has the right to appeal the decision within 3 business days. Appeals are heard by either Derek Brooks or Ted Cottrell, officers jointed appointed by the League and Players Association. If Raiola's appeal is denied, the Lions will likely turn to rookie Travis Swanson at center against the Packers. I did get word just an hour ago from MLive.com's Kyle Meinke that Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a calf injury heading into the showdown with the Detroit Lions. Receiver Jordy Nelson was asked that are the Green Bay Packers ever worried that Aaron Rodgers won't come through in the clutch? Receiver Jordy Nelson was asked that question during a conference call Tuesday afternoon, and Rodgers is so proven at this point that Nelson didn't even understand that question. Nelson said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" unquote. Quote again, "He's a great player. He's, to me, the best quarterback in the league and can do so many things. He controls our offense. He runs our offense. He puts us in situations to be successful. Can make plays with his arm or his legs, and that's what makes him tough," unquote. Rodgers has been a lion killer over the years, though is dealing with a pulled calf muscle. Heading into Sunday's showdown for the NFC North title, division championship at Lambeau Field, 4:25 on Fox, p.m. Eastern. He suffered the injury on the second possession of Green Bay's 20 20-3 win Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rodgers remained in the game and finished 31 of 40 passing for 318 yards and 1 touchdown, but limped away from his post-game news conference and was limited when the Packers returned to practice Tuesday. Green Bay, though, seems unconcerned about Rodgers' status for Sunday's game. Jordy Nelson quoted again about it. I don't think there's too much concern at all. I think he'll be ready to go. We'll see how this week goes, and we'll find out Sunday, but I think he'll be fine, though, unquote. Though Rodgers' arm is fine, the calf injury could limit his mobility, and that would be an issue against a Lions defense that knows how to punish a quarterback. They sacked Teddy Bridgewater 8 times in a game this year. They sacked Josh McCown 6 times in another, and they concussed Jimmy Clausen during a win against the Bears last week. Detroit leads the NFC with 74 quarterback hits, according to Pro Football Focus. The Packers did a lot last week to protect the usually mobile Rodgers, and it's possible they could be similarly conservative against the Lions. Rodgers has been tough on Detroit over the years. It's like as mentioned before, winning the first 9 games he played from start to finish. But the Lions handcuffed him in the first meeting this year, which was actually the previous meeting of all time, allowing only 7 points in a 19-7 win back in Week 3. Rodgers had just 162 yards passing, his worst performance in a complete game since 2008. His 88.8 passer rating was the worst of his career against the Lions in complete games. But Green Bay isn't putting too much stock in that. Jordy Nelson said some more about those statistics. He said, quote, "I don't know necessarily what they did to stop us. We hurt ourselves on the first possession. We had a turnover for a touchdown. We had a lot of penalties, never got ahead in the chains, and weren't consistent on our drives. So obviously they had a part in that, controlling the run game and making it difficult on us on 3rd and long. But I think probably both teams are different than they were in Week 3. Unquote. So that's it for the Lions. Let's move on to Michigan Wolverines sports. Their men's basketball team snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 72-56 win over the Coppin State Eagles at Chrysler Center. Ricky Doyle finished with a career-high 16 points, and Derek Walton added a career-best 9 assists. U of M is now off for 8 days. They're 7-5, returning December 30th for their Big Ten opener against the Illinois Fighting Illini at the Chrysler Center at 3 p.m. on ESPN2. After struggling to score at all over the 4-game skid, Michigan opened Monday's game on an 11-0 run and eventually went up 21-3 in the early going, hitting 10 of its first 3 shots. Zach Irvin finished with 13 points and a career-high 7 rebounds, while Karis LeVert added 8 points and 8 rebounds. It's written by Nick Baumgartner of MLive.com. Also, from SI.com, Michigan football offensive coordinator is expected to become the new head coach, the new offensive coordinator for the Florida Gators, the Florida University Gators. Under new head coach Jim McElwain, after he replaced the fired Will Muschamp. Nussmeier has spent one season with the Wolverines, just the 2014 season with the Wolverines, after serving as Alabama's offensive coordinator for the 2 years prior. Michigan quarterback Devin Gardner struggled with consistency, tossing 15 interceptions as the Wolverines went 5-7. Leading to coach Brady Hoke's ouster. He got fired. Ryan Schuling commented on my post of the link to this article, saying, Doug Nussmeier, sure wasn't sticking around Ann Arbor with Jim Harbaugh coming to town. One of the co-hosts on the WBBL morning show, Schuling and Chafee, on 107.3 WBBL FM in Grand Rapids, 6 to 9 a.m. Let's head over to Michigan State sports. Michigan State Spartans sports. Spartans recovered nicely after their loss on Saturday to Texas Southern in overtime with an 82-56 win over the Citadel Bulldogs. MSU went on a 26-0 run to seal it. After falling behind by 1 point with 3 minutes left in the first half. The Spartans, that 26-0 run continued to happen through halftime in a span of nearly 10 minutes to take a commanding lead. Spartans now improved to 9-4. The Bulldogs now dropped to 4-7. Spartans finished the first half with 7 points, 7 of the first 26 consecutive points, including a late three-pointer by Denzel Valentine. Sophomore forward Gavin Schilling opened the second half with a dunk on a feed from Valentine, and the Spartans were off and running with 19 straight points to take a commanding lead. To take what I mentioned before, their commanding lead. The run and win came 2 days after the Spartans suffered a shocking 71-64 overtime home loss to one-win Texas Southern. Valentine finished with 18 points on 8 of 11 shooting. Forward Matt Costello had 13, while Marvin Clark scored 12 and Schilling added 11. Point guard Travis Trice had a career high 11 assists. The win closes the non-conference portion of Michigan State's schedule. The Spartans now take a week off before facing number 15, the number 15 Maryland Terrapins on December 30th at home. I'm just going to make this quick. Spartans football defensive coordinator Pat Narduzzi will become the Pittsburgh Panthers' newest head coach later this week. According to Yahoo Sports, he was in talk with the Panthers to become the head coach. The Pittsburgh Panthers. Pitt Panthers, Pitt for short. Last Friday, he had an interview with Pitt and Colorado State last week. The number 8 ranked Spartans at 10-2 are playing the number 5 ranked Baylor Bears in the Cotton Bowl Classic at 12:30 on New Year's Day in 2015 at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. That will be apparently on ESPN. The Spartans, who under Narduzzi have finished in the top 10 in total defense each of the past 4 regular seasons, arrive in Dallas on December 26 to begin on-site preparations for the school's first ever Cotton Bowl appearance. Michigan State head coach Mark D'Antonio said last week the Spartans would be prepared should Narduzzi accept another coaching position. D'Antonio has typically promoted from within his coordinator positions. Secondary coach Harlan Barnett was a team captain, an All-American defensive back at Michigan State from 1986 to 1989, and has been a member of D'Antonio's coaching staff since D'Antonio took over as Cincinnati's head coach in 2004. Barnett has sat in the coaching box beside Narduzzi each game and is well versed in the Spartans' unique press quarters defensive scheme. Narduzzi, who has a 3-year guaranteed contract worth more than $907,033 annually, is currently the highest paid assistant in the Big Ten and sixth highest paid in the college football ranks, according to a USA Today report. This article written by Mike Griffith of MLive.com. The SI article is written by Thayer Evans. I'm going to check some other college basketball scores from last night. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies lost to the Clemson Tigers 70-60. The Western Michigan Broncos beat Alabama A&M 71-62, and the Central Michigan Chippewas beat the McNeese State Cowboys 87-58. Right now, the Arizona State Sun Devils lead the Detroit Mercy Titans 80-44 with 3:33 in the second half. And tonight at 6, the Eastern Michigan Eagles host the Coppin State Eagles. the Battle of the Eagles. Now some Red Wings hockey. The Wings take on the Sabres tonight at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit with Ken Daniels and Nikki Redmond on the call, and on 97.1 The Ticket in Southfield in the greater Detroit area. And on the Detroit Red Wings radio network affiliates. Check them all on DetroitRedWings.com. In their first and previous meeting, Zemgus Jurgensen scored in the third round of a shootout, and Michael Neuwirth stopped Henrik Zetterberg to seal a 3-2 win for the Buffalo Sabres against the Red Wings on November 2nd in Buffalo. The Wings have won 7 straight against the Sabres. Prior to that, Buffalo's previous victory against Detroit was a 6-2 win on October 13th, 2009. Sabres team scope. The Sabres canceled practice in Detroit on Monday, mostly because Coach Ted Nolan wants to make sure a flu bug that already has affected forwards Patrick Kaleta and Matt Molson doesn't spread any further. Ouch. Their status for Tuesday tonight is unknown, as is the status of Captain Brian Gianta. Gianta sustained a hard hit from the Boston Bruins' Matt Bartkowski at 14:08 of the first period and did not return to the game because of an upper body injury. In addition, Marcus Foligno sustained an upper body injury fighting Bartkowski after the hit on Gianta and did not return to the game. If the Sabres decide to recall a forward from Rochester from their affiliate, the Rochester Americans of the American Hockey League, it might not be in time for the morning skate Tuesday. The Red Wings team scope goaltender Jimmy Howard practiced Monday, but his status for Tuesday remains unknown. Pina Mrazek will start tonight, actually. Howard injured his groin in the first period of a 2-1 loss to the New York Islanders on Friday, and left about halfway through practice Monday. According to MLive.com, he said, head coach Mike Babcock said, I was surprised Howard was out there on his own, then I was surprised he was in the net. I gave him the boot out of the net to say, are you starting tomorrow? I don't know if he is. We'll know tomorrow morning. Unquote. Pina Mrazek will start if Howard can't, but Howard told MLive he's feeling positive he'll be able to go. Babcock quoted again, there's a chance, but I don't know. I'll probably have to talk a little bit more to the training staff to see what's best for myself and for the team. It's responded every single day with treatments. It felt good out there on the ice today, so hopefully tomorrow another good work day, and you never know. Unquote. I'll share this on Twitter. Center Stephen Weiss will return to the lineup tonight from a shoulder injury. He's expected to, at least. And finally, some Pistons basketball. The Detroit Pistons announced, from Keith Langlois, Pistons.com, the Detroit Pistons announced yesterday the club has requested waivers on forward Josh Smith. Stan Van Gundy's head coach and president of basketball operations for the Pistons, quoted, "Our team has not performed the way we expected throughout the first third of the season, and adjustments need to be made in terms of our focus and direction. We are shifting priorities to aggressively develop our younger players while also expanding the roles of other players in the current rotation to improve performance and build for our future. As we expand certain roles, others will be reduced. In fairness to Josh, being a highly versatile 10-year veteran in this league, we feel it's best to give him his freedom to move forward. We have full respect for Josh as a player and a person." Unquote. The 6'9", 225-pound forward has averaged 13.1 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 4.7 assists, while shooting 39.1% from the field, 24.3% from three-point range, and 46.8% from the free throw line. Ouch. In 105 games with the Pistons, the Georgia native averaged 15.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game. Smith was acquired by the Pistons as a free agent on July 10, 2013. Drafted with the 17th overall selection in the 2004 NBA draft by the Atlanta Hawks, the former Oak Hill Academy product has averaged 15.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2.2 blocks flat, and 34.2 minutes in 781 career games, 758 starts. So that's going to do it for Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 117. It is a sports update edition of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker and iHeartRadio. I'll be back later tonight after the Red Wings Sabres matchup. GTFN, ta-ta for now.